What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Trout Wrangler Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Garrity. That right there, that is our show's vibe curator, Mr. Maverick. Before we get into the podcast, I want to thank the partners of the show, the ones that help make this show possible. Um, PO Sunglasses, Free Fly Apparel, Fleta Coffee, Temple Fork Outfitters, Loon Outdoors, and Yeti Coolers. On this episode of the Trout Wrangler Podcast, we have Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, MPFL Trail Pro. I should say former Elite Series Pro. He now fishes MPFL and actually is a saltwater fly fishing guide, which is really cool. Mr. Randall Tharp, the Honey Badger, is some people may know him as. Super fierce competitor in tournament bass fishing. Had a fantastic Elite Series career, just an all-around great professional fishing career. But we sit down to talk a little bit about his professional bass fishing career, and now about his saltwater fishing charter service, which is super cool. So, some of the things that he had to get used to transitioning from bass fishing with spinning rod, baitcaster, stuff like that, and what he's doing in Port St. Joe. Until then, next is our episode with Randall Tharp. What's up, guys? Like I said in the intro, we do have an interview with somebody you might have seen before. He does a little bit of everything now. Also goes by the Honey Badger. But I'll kick it over to you to introduce yourself a little bit, Randall.
Hey guys, I'm Randall Tharp. I've been making a living fishing bass tournaments for going on probably 20 years now. I've lived in Port St. Joe, Florida since 2013. I've lived here, and I've been a saltwater guide now. This is going on my third year, so it's kind of a good little part-time gig, something I really enjoy that feeds my addiction to catching big fish on some chicken feathers.
Heck yeah. Dude, see, I didn't even really know that you ran charters until I saw Jaden post that he did your stuff, dude. Jaden, awesome dude. He did my logo as well. Not my Trout Wrangler one, but my Rise Flies one. Dude's the man.
Yeah, I agree, man. He did a good job for me. And, I've been taking people fishing a really long time. It kind of came with the gig bass fishing. But living down here and fishing with some of the guys that I do, like if I was going to do it and get paid for it, I felt like I should do it the right way. So this going on my third season now, and it's been a lot more difficult than I thought, but it's kind of gradually building what I want it to be,
Yeah.
and the majority, well, I wouldn't say the majority, just about all of my customers are people that I have met through my bass fishing career, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Dude, so as a professional bass fishing, most of your stuff was done with a spinning rod or like baitcaster and stuff like that. What kind of made you want to pick up a fly rod?
Man, there's a simple version. I mean, when I moved down here and I started fishing on the coast, I would definitely say that everything I learned from fishing bass tournaments and freshwater lakes and stuff, I felt like it was a very easy transition.
Yeah.
It almost gave me an advantage, like coming down here, a lot of the same techniques, obviously casting and stuff with the same kind of equipment. It was pretty easy. So I think the reason I kind of decided I was going to start doing it with a fly is I just wanted the challenge of it. And as easy as everything else was for me in that transition from fresh to salt, dude, fly fishing was the exact opposite, dude.
Yeah.
Like it was so difficult. Just the casting itself, and then, figuring that out, and then figuring out how to tie a fly that looked good and that they wanted to eat, and then feeding the fish and now fighting the fish. Like it's been, I would say, it's probably one of the most challenging things I've ever undertaken. And I guess that's the reason I like it. I just like doing things the hard way. I like figuring stuff out on my own. And that for that reason, it's been a pretty long process. I
Yeah.
definitely have some friends now that have, if I'm having a problem or see something on the water I don't understand or can't get them to really eat it, like that I can, bounce some ideas off of. But it's been a process and one that I fell in love with. I've been obsessed with it. I mean, to
Yeah.
be honest, for probably 8 years ago, I bought my first fly rod. The last 6, it's been a pretty bad obsession.
Yeah, dude, that's
So,
how it gets, man. Like, so mine, I kind of have a unique situation how I picked it up. So, like, it's probably the same thing for you. It's like you have tournament season, and the fly rods kind of collect dust, and then you come off the road, and then you pick it back up, and you're like, I'm ready to pick up a fly rod again. But I lived like you've been to Lake Norman. You get off of 485 and go down Highway 16 to get to like Unity Church to go into Beatty's Ford. I lived right there at 16. I got every single rod stolen out of my truck after a Wednesday nighter, and
uh,
the only thing I had left were my fly rods. So I was like, I was kind of getting out of it. I had sold my boat, and I was like, think I'm just gonna stick with the fly rod these days. I've been getting my teeth pounded in post like high school fishing. I peaked in high school from a fishing standpoint, and I was like, I think I'm just gonna stick to fly fishing. But yeah, dude, it is so much fun once you actually like really get into it. I'm like, it's all I think about.
dude, me too. Like I think bass fishing has definitely went one way. I mean, all the big screens, forward
Yeah,
facing sonar, like the equipment, the boats, the engines, all that stuff. And I really think all of that's getting away what fishing should be and what I feel like it is for me.
I
I
agree.
just love the simplicity of a skiff. I love the simplicity of just tying something on a hook and taking just a couple rods. I don't need 25 and going out there and as basic as it can be, presenting a fly to a fish and figuring out a way to make him eat it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the simplicity of that is what fishing is to me. So that's why I'm drawn to it and why, this gig that I got now with my charter business, I mean, it's something that really interests me, moving forward in my fishing career now. Like
right.
that's where I see Randall Tharp in 7 or 8 more years. Probably not going to be traveling the roads fishing bass tournaments anymore, but on the platform of my skiff, and I think I get just as much enjoyment out of that. I know I do. The challenge of that is just another level. Not necessarily doing it myself, but teaching somebody else
Yeah,
and watching it go down. Like it's just, figuring the fish out is one thing, but seeing what you're working with a customer and then trying to put all those pieces together is just another element of it. And I'll tell you, man, I've got a ton of respect for the really good guys that live on this coast and guys that I've met that have built these businesses, and they've got their 12 to 15 really good clients that fish a
yeah,
week during tarpon season and a week during redfish season with them. And, it something like that's not built in a day. It takes a long time. And that's where my business is at now. It's just the infancy stage where I've got a few good regulars now that have grown. I've had a
yeah.
lot of first, and it's very, very rewarding for me.
Yeah, man. I do like I like what you brought up about dude bass fishing. Like it's gotten insane. Like the whole forward facing sonar thing's crazy. But dude, like something that I looked back on and like where like this is probably a name that is like this is a deep pull here. Like a guy that I think would hate it as well. Jason Quinn, dude. Like he was one of those guys like how he fished deep with no forward facing sonar, anything like that. He like I remember so we fished Wiley when I was in high school and it was March and those fish were out deep upriver. You've probably been to Wiley.
Hmm.
Like around that time of the year, those fish, like a lot of people don't really know it, but they group up out there at like up Catawba River, or now the South Fork River. And one of Jason's buddies and Jason showed us how to get on those fish. Watching him, how he set his boat up on that stuff was insane. And he's like, you line up the front of the boat with this dock post over here, this dock post over here, and the bridge piling at the end. And he's like, and just cast straight out. And he's like, slow roll those old bass trick swim baits. He's like, slow roll it.
Yeah.
Sure enough, donk, set the hook. It's like a 3-pounder. And I'm like, that is how simple bass fishing used to be. Set up with this, set up with that, set up the front of the boat with that, and just cast.
Yeah, triangulate. Like that
Yeah.
was how the old school guys did it before we had waypoints and all of that kind of stuff. And when I started, that was the way you did it. When I really got serious and was right when good GPSs came out where you could save a waypoint. And I actually at that time had a team partner that was just so old. He was about 10 years older than me. And I promise you, that guy, we could run down the Tennessee River. I used to fish with him on Gunnersville a lot. We could run down that river and we'd pull up on a spot and I could get within about 10 or 15 feet with the GPS and he would be like, no, that's not quite right. And we could move up and we could make that cast and hit the spot through the old school method better than you could do it with the new school GPSs and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I think our stuff's a little more accurate today than at that time, but still that old school way got it done for us.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
back then.
There's so another, like, it's crazy too. Like, so Hank Parker Jr., I was at a show last year. I set up like a little booth at I want to say it was Angler's Choice Marine, and Hank Parker was talking about going out with Britt Myers Jr., Little Britt, and using forward facing sonar. And he was like, that boy is a magician with that thing. And Little Britt's always been like that. I mean, you see his dad was always the man on Wiley too. But yeah, he's talking about doing it with Little Britt. He's like, it just completely changed my mind about it. I was like, dang, I did not expect that out of Hank Parker. But,
yeah, I mean Hank's a legend,
yeah.
and I know Hank pretty well, and Britt Jr. I remember Britt Jr. when he was just a baby, but the younger generation definitely seems to pick up on that whole game quicker than somebody like me. I've spent a lot of time with it. I've spent a lot of time getting my stuff set up just right so I could compete with it, and I've gotten paid with it, but there's no way I cannot beat a lot of the younger, super scopers that are out there today.
Yeah.
Like that's their whole game, and that's their biggest reason that I can't beat them.
Yeah.
Is I still try to do what gives me the best a chance to win, which is kind of old school, flipping stick, find something nasty to pitch a bait in and do my thing. And I think that, I mean, since we're on the subject, I'll just give you my opinion of it really quick. Like, there's leagues banning it now. There's leagues that do it for 3 hours. The league I'm fishing next year is banned altogether. So I don't even have it on my new boat sitting right here. But it's just two totally different games.
It is.
I think you're just eventually you're going to have tournaments with it and you're going to have tournaments without it. But trying to do both, it isn't fun for anybody.
No.
Because a guy that scopes all the time that loves doing that, he doesn't want to go fish without it. He wants to use his tools.
Yeah.
And I want to use mine. And I want to have a chance to win. So I think eventually that's where it's going to be. I don't think these leagues can continue to ride the fence on it. You're either going to be for it or against it. And, we'll just see. I mean, but it's definitely, you can't argue that it's not two different games because you can just look at the weights.
100%.
And they're not even comparable, the scoping weights to without the scope.
See, like, I sold my boat just before that whole boom. I had the option to get it. I didn't even use a front graph. Like half the time when I was fishing, I wouldn't use a front graph, and people would be like, "Why don't you use a front graph?" I was like, "Cause I'm a dude that wants to put my trolling motor in the dirt and grab a flipping jig and flip wood all day." I was like, I'll go and lose my ass on the damn bank before I go sit out deep with a spinning rod in my hand. Like, a bunch of my friends were like, dude, why are you like that? I was like, dude, the world's strongest man couldn't even pick up the jig box I had in the bottom of my boat. And I was just like, man, that's me. Like, I try and keep it simple. And that's just how I grew up doing that, skipping docks, flipping wood. And it's like, am I going to lose a lot of money? Hell yeah. But it's like, if I catch 5, they're going to be big uns.
Well, that's probably why both of us are drawn to fly fishing, though. It's the simplicity of it all. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And man, I don't know. I don't have all that. I've never been against the scope, or I've always been wanting to push the limits of what we can do. Like I could consistently, like we try to do it with rods and reels and hooks and baits and everything else that I've helped companies with over the years. So the electronic companies, like I know they're working on something way more powerful and better right now than the scope. Like, when's it going to stop?
Yeah.
Like we're the gray area where it all gets blurred is just when you start mixing that in when guys are fishing for a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it just, where do we draw the line? Where does it stop?
Yeah.
Like I always equate it to golf. Like I'm sure they could make a golf club and a golf ball that even I could hit 500 yards, but they've drawn a line, so I can't do that. And it, if I could drive the green on every par five, wouldn't be fun anymore.
Yeah.
It would take away all the history of that game, and that's what's going on in bass fishing right now, I think.
Yeah. There's a lot of things I think you can compare about golf right now and bass fishing right now, like the whole live PGA thing, the whole split that happened a few years ago.
Yeah, it's eerily similar for sure. And now guys are going back.
Yeah, it's
just
crazy.
Like salmon and fishing.
See, like I work at a golf course, and then I do this on the side. I'm on the greens crew, and I had somebody talking about that last year. They're like, "Oh yeah, the whole split between Live and PGA." They're like, I've never seen anything like this. I was like, I have, and it is the exact same.
Yeah, the fishing split, and for your listeners, like what we're talking about is pretty much there was a period of time when all the best tournament bass fishermen were on one tour. It was the Bassmaster Elite Series, and things weren't going that good. And there was another league that formed, Major League Fishing, and I think they invited 80 guys, and the majority of them were from the Elite Series, and I think 72 of us went. And that was the big split, and then it divided the fishing industry, divided the tournaments,
Dude,
and now since that time, there's I don't know how many more leagues and more division and more different rules, and it's more complicated. But all reasons that I enjoy being on the platform of my skip.
Yeah, dude. Now you're fishing MPFL this year, aren't you?
Yeah, it's that tour has been around about 5 years, I think. Some things I like is they've made a stand on the forward facing thing, so they don't have it, and they appear, just from talking to some of my friends that have competed there the last few years, that they really do a good job of enforcing the rules.
Yeah.
And for me, if I'm gonna leave home and I'm gonna make the investment in going to fish a trail, like I at least want to know if I finish last, that I really finished last, or if I have a good event, like. I don't want their shady stuff to be going on.
Yeah,
so they've got a reputation already of being a very fair, well-run tournament trail, which the other leagues that are out there now, I can tell you, it's not that way. So
right, it's kind of crazy now, like the whole thing going down to it's nuts. I'm not even gonna cross that bridge. But
there's 20 podcasts just on controversial bass fishing stuff,
dude.
and like I don't really want to go down that road either.
Nah, dude, I don't, because it's like I still know a bunch of people, but like everything I have heard about the MPFL is awesome. Like, so my freshman year, I fished with Mike Corbishley at ECU, and he loved fishing that, I think. And then they banned forward facing sonar, and I think he wanted to go fish the opens. But he had a great time doing it. I think he's with Phoenix now, isn't he?
Man, our team's gotten so big there, I couldn't tell you. And we had a lot of new guys come over this year. I mean, they're really – I've been with them. I did yesterday. I did a post on that. I've been with them 13 years. And, I mean, they have built an awesome company there. It's still like a family – feels like a family-run business. And they're killing it, man. We got some awesome boats to compete out of, and that's who actually I'm going to work for this weekend for Phoenix.
Oh, cool. Yeah, dude, those new Phoenixes. I mean, their contingency program, everything they're doing over there is honestly like top notch. Really good boats that they're pushing out.
Yeah, their sales prove it too. Like there was a lot of legendary big brands, when I was coming up and Phoenix wasn't around, and they started that business in the biggest recession of my lifetime, and people thought they were crazy, and they've built something special there, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Oh yeah, dude. We already kind of talked about the trails you're fishing. Dude, so I saw on your angler profile that your least favorite lake is Lake Norman.
It's definitely not the worst lake. It's got a ton of fish in it.
Yeah.
I don't dislike it. I've done well there. But the biggest issue I have with it is when I go fishing, I guess I'm a reclusive kind of person. I don't really like being around a lot of people.
Oh,
it's one reason I live in Port St. Joe. It's a relatively small town if you look at Florida as a whole. Like it's, I still ride my golf cart. I know half the people that live here. So, but when I go to Lake Norman, it's like I'm always in somebody's backyard. Like I like to fish the bank. I can't even get to the bank. There's so many boat docks, in half of that lake. So, but honestly, man, like that's a cool little part of the country. People are very friendly around there. I just don't like fishing in somebody's backyard the whole time.
Dude, I mean, I can throw a stone to that lake, and I fished it since I was like 14 now. I like it. Like you could go out there and catch a bunch of fish, but they're all like, they just introduced F1 largemouth to it, and the spots are kind of growing, but it's like, dude, I don't want to go out and catch literally like 500 spots that are that big. But it's
it could be worse. You could live on the Ohio River. That's probably one of the worst fish I've ever been on. So,
dude, yeah, that and then the Sabine.
The Sabine's actually way better than the Ohio River.
I remember there were like a few years there where the Sabine was horrible.
Man, I fished there a bunch of times. I will say this, man, there's some good, those people treat us right the times I've been there. It's a cool little community that appreciates fishermen, and it's always fun to go to a place like that where the community kind of welcomes us in. So
I got you. So this is my last question about bass fishing.
Okay, thank goodness.
The infamous that's not true hammer. You and Matt Herron little incident. Are you guys friends after that?
We were friends before it, and we were friends after it. I mean, it's kind of weird in a way that I've had a pretty solid career, and that's what I'm known for the most was a fight on the water. But it was a final day of an event. Both of us had a really good opportunity to win the event, and looking back on it, it's easy to see why it happened. Like we had fished that, both of us had caught a lot of fish in that same area, that river or creek that we were in the first day of the event. Neither one of us saw the other guy. And then, here I am leading the event, and, guy pulls in front of me and cuts me off. And then it just kind of went south from there. And what made it very unique and why it was so, I guess so many people have seen it, is because we both had HD cameras and we were both mic'd up. So there would have been a lot of fights on the water, but only one guy had a microphone. So you got both guys with a microphone. You got Bass that just wants the ratings, playing it up like it was worse than it really was. And, honestly, I look back on that, and I probably wouldn't have won that tournament if that hadn't happened. It was about lunchtime when it happened. I was pretty twisted off, and so was Matt. So I just left that whole creek arm, and I went to another one, and that's actually, I think I caught cold 3 times after that and won the event. So
yeah, you had our entire ECU bass fishing team saying that's not true hammer all the time.
Or if I see a buddy of mine on the water here, I gave you a half a mile, which is what Matt said to me.
It's in the box. We used to use that one a little bit too. But dude, that was just one of those things. I think we were all sitting around, we had a bass fishing house off campus, and we used to just sit around, and on a Friday night before going to the bars, we'd sit around and watch old Elite Series events, and probably kill a little too much beer than we should have been on a Friday night at 19 years old. But and we
it happens.
Yeah, but we'd sit there, and we watched that one night, and we were like, dude, I completely forgot about that. But so let's speak about charter fishing a little bit. We're get off bass fishing for a little bit there.
Okay.
So, what kind of made you want to fish a trail and start a guide or like a charter business at the same time?
Man, I mean, I'm getting a lot older. I mean, I've been making a living fishing bass tournaments for like 20 something years, but and I still love it, man. I still love the competition. I still run with a lot of really great guys. I love my time, competing out there. And I've also built a pretty successful business. You can't make it fishing bass tournaments anymore. You have to have a good business off the water. I work for some great companies, and I never would have thought that in the beginning. I just wanted to fish. And I could pay my bills with my tournament winnings in the beginning, but our payouts aren't near what they used to be. So now I pay my bills with working for a lot of different companies in the industry. But the traveling part is probably my least favorite thing, and I love my time here at home. And it was just one of those things that every second that I was at home, I wanted to be on the water. And I was already I've been taking people fishing my whole career, whether it be sponsor fishing or people that work for this company. Hey, could you take these guys for a few days? And I've taken so many people fishing down here, and I just felt like it was a next step. I wouldn't say it's my retirement plan because I don't think I'll ever retire, but it's definitely, since I've been doing it 3 years, I've enjoyed it way more than I thought. And I definitely can see I'm 57 now. I'm fixing to be 57 this month. I'm 56. But I don't see me bass fishing much past 60 or running the roads. I'm probably still going to be involved with a lot of the companies that I work for because I help build several of them. But that's what I see my future like. I don't think I'm going to be a 7-day-a-week guy, but 5 days a week, especially during the peak of our redfish season, which is the fall, and obviously tarpon season is something that those are our best two things going here, I think, is redfish and tarpon, and I can't get enough of it. I don't think I can learn everything in my lifetime that I need to know about it either. But man, that's just what I'm into right now.
Yeah.
I love everything about those two species, targeting them with a fly.
Oh yeah, they're two very interesting species, very much so. Like even those tarpon, like down on the Space Coast, are unreal. Like I lived like 10 minutes from Venetian Gardens for like 2 years, right by the Harris Chain, and I mean I'd go right past the Harris Chain to go and fish the Space Coast a lot, and they got those little ditch tarpon. Even those things are unbelievable to fish for, and it's nowhere near Port St. Joe, but it's like those tarpon. It's so addicting. Even when you catch like the little juvies, that will get you hooked on something. I remember I caught my first one, and I had one of my buddies with me who came down, and I was like, "That bass boat's getting sold tomorrow," and it sat for like another year, but it barely got any use, and I was just like, I like this a whole lot more than bass fishing at this point, just because like you never know like what you're gonna get. It's like dropping your fly line into a jungle at that point.
Man, there's a lot of cool fishing destinations that I would love to go fish. Like I've never fly fished in the Keys. I fished in the Keys some, but I've never fly fished there. But that's something that I want to do. This stretch of coast has consumed me for the last 10 or 12 years now, and it's hard to when I'm on the road fishing tournaments and then I get back, I feel like it takes me a while to get caught back up, and then I just don't feel like getting in a car, getting on a plane to go fishing somewhere else. But
Yeah.
I do think once I in that phase of my career and I'm here all the time, I do feel like that my wife and I will start traveling again, and hopefully get to do some of those things.
Yeah, it's
like catch a permit in the Keys,
Yeah.
or a bonefish or something like that.
I had a buddy going down to the Keys. I had a buddy that got back from the Keys the other day, and I got a buddy going down to the Keys. I think Friday. And my buddy that got back, he fished the whole time. He was like, dude, it's unbelievable down there in the Keys. He's like, he just got a new skiff, and he brought it down there to break it in. I was like, dude, that's a great place to go and break in a skiff.
Yeah, it is, man. Yeah, the history of the whole thing. I've read a ton of books, and the history of fly fishing in the Keys and all the
Oh,
great
so cool.
guides and fishermen down there. Um, I felt like it was important to understand that if I was going to get into it. So I don't know, man, that whole scene and the whole thing that happened in Homosassa years ago,
Yeah.
like is kind of, which isn't really all that far from me.
No.
But that was really fascinating to me and still does. But I love hearing those stories from a lot of the guys that were a part of that period of that epic fishing.
Dude, it's kind of crazy how like Jimmy Buffett was somehow like involved with all those guys too.
Yeah, it seems like once you start researching that and reading and hearing the accounts of all that, like it seemed like it was a relatively small circle. I mean, everybody kind of knew everybody, whether they're friends or not. It honestly, it reminds me of like what bass fishing was in the beginning for me,
Yeah.
like the infancy of, when guys were figuring out how to catch a giant fish on fly and stuff down
Yeah,
there.
it's super cool. Like that. Have you read what's it called? Lords of the Fly?
Yeah, Monty Burke. That book is probably my favorite. I've read that several times. There's several other good ones. Like I think On the Bow's really good.
Yeah.
Uh, the best kind of instructional book, I think, which I don't even think you can buy it anymore. I think I bought it off of eBay. Was Fordyce's book.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of my tarpon refresher crash course every year. I'll read that a couple times just because and I don't think he would write the book today. I think he gave away too many secrets in there. So I like it. But.
Yeah, I was watching a Fordyce video earlier. I was like sitting on lunch and I scrolled past it. I was like, oh, it's Tom Fordyce. I was like, I'm gonna watch that one. But
Yeah, but there's a lot of good material out there that you can learn from. Like I've learned a lot from that. Like I've tried to learn a lot on my own. I figure if I can figure it out on my own, I feel like I appreciate it more and I kind of would understand it better than if somebody showed it to me. But man, it almost is overwhelming
it is.
trying to figure some of this out. And I credit, there's a guy here, Jordan Todd with Saltwater Obsessions. He's kind of showed me. Well, I caught my first tarpon with him. Like he's kind of ruined me, and I still fish with Jordan a good bit. He's a great guy and a good friend. But last year I started fishing some with another guy, Scott Burgess, who I fish early season over there with him some. And man, he really showed me. Well, he always challenges me with something with casting, gives me something that I can personally be working on. And last year, like he really showed me some finer points of learning how to tame one of those big beasts, learning how to pull on them at the right angles so you can wear a fish down and get him to the side of the boat without it taking all day or what, it's just not, I don't think it's good for the fish to pull on them for 2 hours, You can get it done in 30 minutes and get him released. So, but those two guys have helped me more than anybody. And I still would rather figure it out on my own, but you can't help but learn from everybody that's in your boat, on the bow of your boat, or guys you fish with. And those two for me have really kept me on track, steered me in the right direction. I don't want to step on anybody's toes that was here before me, on this little stretch of coast. There's some amazing guys that have built some really good charter businesses here, but strictly red fishing and tarpon fishing, just like I'm trying to do.
That whole like part of Florida right there is really, really cool. I'm going to ask you a question about that here in a little bit, but what flats boat are you running this charter season?
Man, I've got a little Maverick, the HPXS. I think it's a 21. I think I got that boat in 2020. And dude, it's been a great boat, man. It's got a 70 on it. And I fished out of a lot of really nice skiffs. I fished out just about all the Hells Bays. You could not deny those are some of the finest riding boats that there are. And I definitely think my Maverick is one of the worst riding ones of all the ones. But man, it floats shallow. It's super quiet. And man, it's still one of the best poling boats, that I've ever pushed. So I like that boat. I don't think it's my forever boat. I'm at the point now, I'm either going to repower it or I've got a friend of mine that I fish some that wants it. And I've been looking at the Floyds really hard.
Dude.
Like I cannot find anything about that boat that I don't like, but I've never fished out of one or pulled one. So I'm kind of teetering between the 8 and the 10 weight now. I think the 10 weight, I can put a 70 on it. I think it's going to draft about the same as my Maverick, and I think it's just going to be way better tarpon boat than my Maverick is.
They are beautiful boats too. Dude, like every one I see, I'm just like, damn, man, I want one of those so bad. Every single one.
Boats are funny, man. Like I've had a lot of them, a lot of different bass boats and a lot of different saltwater boats right now, and you can always find something you would change about every one. Like I can look at one now, regardless of what kind it is, and I can always find something I don't like.
Yeah, that's
and the Floyd to me, and I don't know Brian or like I said, I've seen some around, but I've never fished out of it. That's the only one that I can't find anything wrong with looking at it, is the 8 and the 10 weight Floyd.
I feel like that's something as fishermen that we can always find something wrong with a boat. Like I could have told you 12 different things I wanted to like change about my old Skeeter that I had. I had a 99, and the hot foot screws would come out at the absolute worst time. And I was like, I need a better hot foot. I want bigger storage. I was like,
that's why they keep building them and changing them. They're always trying to build the perfect ones. So, I definitely like my little Maverick. There's been a lot of fish caught out of it, and like I said, it does some things really, really, really good, and it does some things not so good. I think if I continue to tarpon fish out of it, it's going to be in the bottom of the ocean. Though it's got really low freeboard. And, a lot of the time we're on Oceanside here, we're anchored up. And when it gets to like 2 footers, they're still swimming really good. But when it starts coming in quicker than the bilge can pump it out, that's when I think I need a little taller sides on my skiff.
That's tough. You got the bucket out and everything, trying to get it out with the bilge.
I've never had to get the bucket out, but there was a couple days this year that I just had to pull anchor and go because it was just not safe anymore.
What motor you got on the back of it?
It's just got a little F70, which I think I don't think I'll ever have a skiff with another engine until they build. It's the best power to weight ratio of any engine that any outboard company makes. Like, it's 100 pounds lighter than a 90. It just doesn't weigh much, and it's still got a lot of power. So it's plenty enough to push an 18-foot skiff.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I think that's like something, I feel like, dude, you put something over like a 90 on a skiff, that's when it starts getting to like, this is a little sketchy.
Dude, I think they're hanging 300s on the Chittams now.
So. Are they really?
Oh, yeah. That 21, and I've seen a few of those boats around here, but those boats are a little out of my league, like just price-wise, and I'm still on the fence about the full carbon, is it going to hold up for 10 years? Like if I buy a boat, I'd like to think that if I sell it 2 or 3 years down the road, they've still got a long life ahead, and whoever I sell it to is going to be a good boat for them. So I don't know about the carbon stuff, but I can tell you this, they're light and they're fast and they look really nice.
They do. Dude, yeah, that price tag is wild on those. They're super nice boats, don't get me wrong. But like I looked at like the price tag on them, I was like, that's almost a house.
Yeah, it's all of them though. It's bass boats too.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's nuts right now.
What's amazing to me is the number of 15 and 16-year-old high school anglers that have a nicer bass boat.
Dude, you're telling me. Oh my gosh. I boat captained for some high school kids like 3 years ago, and dude, like I was fishing Lake James up here. And some of them, like, their dads will let them skip school for 3 days and go pre-fish for a high school tournament where there's no money on the line. I was pulling in and to the Big Bear Landing on Lake James, and this kid had to have been 15, 16. It was a blacked out Phoenix. Kid came flying in, sat the boat down, had to have been 70. Sat it down right next to me, didn't even look at the no wake zone. Sat it down next to me, stopped. And I'm sitting there, like, grabbing the handles. My boat's sitting there like this. And I was like, did you see the no-wake buoy back there? And he was like, no. And he was like, were you pre-fishing for high school kids today? I was like, yeah. He was like, what'd you have? I was like, I had 14 pounds. And my best 5. He was like, oh, he's like, I had 10. I was like, are you out here alone, dude? And he was like, yeah. He's like, my dad let me skip school for the entire week to pre-fish for this tournament this weekend. I was like, what? And he was like, yeah. He's like, I came out here every day this week, pulls up and put his boat on the trailer. Kid probably had to have been $300,000 in his boat and his truck. I was like, dude, it's a different time, man.
It sure is, man. Like, I have to go. I went and helped Bobby Lane's a good friend of mine, and he does a big high school tournament on the Kissimmee chain every year. And I went down there, and I was just shocked at the not 50, not 100, but hundreds of, jacked up, F-250s that are tricked out to the max with full wraps and the boats to match, like, and it's just a different time than, when I came up, and we all just had pretty 18-foot bass boats with 150s, and that was your top of the line boat back then, and you could buy one for $25,000, like brand new.
Yeah.
And now that same, those kids' boats are, I mean, with all the electronics and the batteries, and you add it up, it's pushing like 150 now for fully, 24-inch screens, and then you start putting the $1,000 rod and reel combos, and there's 30 of those in there.
It's so crazy.
Where does it end?
Exactly. It's so nuts. It was like, I knew it was getting crazy. Dude, like, it was nuts when you have like kids that literally just got their licenses and they're riding around in trucks that literally looked like Britt Meyer's old truck with like the dual light bars. Like it literally just came off the lot at CS Motorsports. And dude, like that truck that Britt had back in the day, the red one with the General Tire wrap on it, dude, that thing was so cool.
Yeah, Britt's one of the best in the country.
He is.
It's like he did my truck that's sitting in the driveway, and I don't have a super jacked up truck or nothing, but put a leveling kit on it, and he always puts my camper shell on it, and makes it livable since I live out of it for still 6 to 8 tournaments a year.
He's just such a good dude too. He always has been.
Yeah, him and his wife, and I mean, I do miss that part of it, and we weren't going to talk about bass fishing anymore, but my wife and I lived in a 36-foot fifth wheel for, 15 years traveling with him and Missy and all the other group. And there's still a large group of us, some of my best friends. Like, I talked to Mike McClellan today and my buddy B. Height, who lives in Arizona. Like, they're still camping, still traveling together, and they're on their way to a tournament right now, so. And they were wanting to know how the fishing was here, see if I could take them.
I didn't know B-Hype professionally fished anymore.
Oh, yeah. He's fishing. Well, we left the BPT at the same time, and he's been fishing opens like I've been the last few years. And I think that's what he's doing again this year.
Yeah.
His bass opens.
The jackhammer magician.
Yeah, the jackhammer's been good to him.
Yeah, man.
Like you can't. He's a great guy, a good friend, and he's done well in the fishing industry for sure.
Dude, those jackhammers were so cool. I love those damn things.
He's building a new house right now, and jackhammers went up. They were $18, and now they're $20. So you know where your extra $2 is going.
But dude, so what makes your fishery in Port St. Joe unique, and like how does it differ from some of the other fisheries in the Panhandle?
Man, I mean, I think the Forgotten Coast, which is what this whole stretch, it's. I think what drew me here to this particular spot is I think it's very diverse.
Yeah.
St. Joe Bay, where my house is, the boat ramp's about a quarter mile from where I'm sitting right now. It's very unique. If you look at the map and you look at the whole state of Florida, this bay is pretty unique. Some big turtle grass flats, lots of ditches, pretty gin clear water, and our fish are generally pretty stubborn in there. But I can go west from here to East Bay, which is the back of one of the big bays in Panama City, or there's another area over there called Crooked Island, and that's a totally different, it's more Bahamas-like crystal clear blue water, and so it's a different fishery if I go west. And then if I just go just a little bit east from where my house is now, I've got Indian Pass and Apalachicola, which is like it's just a delta system. a lot dirtier, more stained
Yeah.
water. So all of that's within 15 miles of where I'm sitting right now, and it's 3 pretty unique, different kind of fisheries. And also, being a bass fisherman, like Seminole's the closest tournament lake, but there's 80 miles of river from Appalachia to Seminole
Yeah.
Dam there. It's just so diverse, and I don't think in my lifetime I could ever fish it all.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying. Like every time I get a chance to go do something by myself, fresh or salt, I try to go somewhere I've never been.
Yeah. Dude, it's nuts. Like, do you ever have it where you'll catch, like, say, a tarpon on one cast and then a bass on another? Like, up in any of these
Never a
rivers?
tarpon and a bass, but I've got some pictures with clients where it's a bass and a redfish.
That's pretty cool.
Back-to-back cast. So never. I've actually seen some tarpon when that was going on, but I've never pulled that off where I had those 3 at once.
That's
but
pretty
the
crazy.
redfish and bass happens all the time.
Yeah, we used to have it happen on the Tar River a lot. Like the closer you get to the Pamlico Sound, it'd be nothing to, like, I'll catch like a bass on a spinnerbait and then pitch back out there, and you'll catch a red on a spinnerbait. It was the craziest thing.
Yeah, it's a very cool place, and I don't fish west much unless I go to Louisiana. I've got some friends that I fish with that have camps and stuff over there, but I definitely like east of here.
Yeah,
that Carabel. My buddy Scott lives over in St. Mark's. Like it's shallower. The further that way you go, the more rocks there is. There's crazy giant rocks that stick up out of the middle of the Gulf over there. And you can run 2 or 3 miles out and you're still in 2 foot of water. So it gets flatter that direction.
That's so cool.
Whereas if I go, to the west, it gets a lot deeper, really close to the bank over there. So
yeah,
it's just a cool place, man. I'm thankful. I love this place. I love where I live, and I'm thankful that my wife and we'll never leave here. I'm pretty sure of it.
That's awesome though, dude. Like, I have heard, like, that whole Forgotten Coast is awesome. Dude, just because I have another buddy from there. Have you ever met Hunter with the Captain's Collective podcast?
Man, I don't. He's interviewed a couple of my buddies. I do listen to his podcast some, especially if he's got a guest that I know or
yeah.
And I know he's been on your show.
Yeah, dude, he's a super nice guy.
Yeah, he's over there, I think, maybe a little bit, I guess it would be east of St. Mark's. I'm not sure that area. He's right over there somewhere.
Yeah, he's over. I know he's on the Forgotten Coast somewhere, but yeah, he talked a lot about it, how cool that fishery is. And it's one of those things I'd be like, I would love to go. I've always, like, I've never really been to the Panhandle, especially fishing. I've always been, like, that Harris chain to the Keys down. And
yeah,
I've never been fishing in the Panhandle. I got to get over there.
Man, I'm glad I discovered. It's definitely, I don't think, especially like the Bay is what it was when I first moved here. I think more than anything, it's just, the amount of people that have moved here since I've been here. It's definitely getting more pressure now than it used to, but it's still a very unique fishery, and there's certain times of year I still can go fish. I don't see a soul. So
that's nice.
That's really man, it nice. Is, and you compare it to South Florida, which I've been down there 4 times since Christmas working. And I mean, the traffic and the amount of people, it's crazy down there.
It's starting to grow so much down there. Like, my buddy's dad I was talking to my buddy today, and he's going down there this weekend, and he's like, dude, real estate down there is absolutely insane now. He's like, everybody's starting to, like, want to move down there. And it's like, it's kind of like changing the town down there, like, especially Key West. Like, I've talked to a couple of my buddies that have gone down to Key West this year, and they're like, dude, it's just not the same as, like, how it used to be. Like, even in, like, the early 2000s, mid 2000s, it's kind of just, like, commercialized now, which kind of stinks.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to the Millhouse, like, they talk about the decline or demise, or, they talk about all the guides on there talk about how good it used to be. I think it's probably still a really special, unique, unbelievable place. And I think where I live here in St. Joe is a lot of the same. Like, some people would come down here and freak out about how good it is. But, I just know what I've seen since I've been on the water here, and the decline, and it's still really good. But I'm concerned about, I bet my neighbor's boys, I've been fishing with him since he's 6. He's 12 now. He's pretty spoiled. But I just want him and his kids to see part of what I've seen.
Yeah.
Like it's probably still going to be really good when I'm gone, but you got to think about the generations ahead. And, I love the fish that I chase here. I want them to thrive too. Like it's concerning. And that's another thing I lean on my buddies, or Jordan especially is our CCA chapter president here, and very conservation minded. And I'm thankful I have guys like that I learn from. And, if I see something that's weird, hey man, have you seen this? What's going on?
Yeah. So like, say you have like a brand new fly fisherman come on your boat, like what's a little 2-minute drill kind of thing you do to like the casting and stuff like that? Like I know usually like somebody be like, hey, like take this spinning rod. But like if they're hell-bent on catching one on a fly, what would be like?
Man,
like
I don't think I have a 2-minute drill. I think every angler's different, man. Like you just never know what you're going to get. It's one of the funnest things about doing that now. Like it's one thing to be able to pattern the fish and figure them out, but see what you're working with for the day. But, tarpon fishing is one thing. Like it's a little different. We fish them a lot on the beach here, anchored up. So, but, and generally there's not fish swimming, so you can work on a few things. Red fishing, I'm never going to take them to my best flat until I can see what they can do.
Yeah.
I just want to know how far they can cast, how accurately they can cast, and then I can worry about how I'm going to get the boat in position to get them a good shot,
Yeah.
But man, that's the funnest thing about it is you just, and I guess trying to build this business, the most enjoyment I've had is obviously taking somebody that really probably couldn't cast 25 feet and now watching them turn into a sniper after, 10 or 15 trips on the water with me. And I'm not a great fly caster by any means. I can cast good enough to get the job done, but yeah, I feel like I've gotten to be a lot better teacher, a lot better understanding of a way to communicate what, I think they need to be doing wrong. And yeah, it's that's the coolest part of it.
Yeah,
is just figuring that out. The best way to take this guy, and, it's really simple if you really think about it. They just got to get the fly in front of the fish. But
I completely agree.
The most common thing I hear is, well, when I was practicing in my yard, I didn't think the wind was going to be blowing 20. Well, dude, we're on the freaking ocean.
Yeah.
Like, it's always going to be blowing.
It's like, yeah, the wind ain't going to be blowing in your front yard in the middle of Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, my best customer, who's been with me all 3 years, multiple trips a year, like he has really like he'll call me. He's like, I went and practiced today, and I was like, well, was the wind blowing? He said, yeah, it was blowing 20. That's why I went out there and practiced. The only way I'm gonna get better.
Dude, it was funny. Like I've had like I brought like a few of my friends fishing and stuff like that, and then one night, I think it was like Christmas Eve a couple years ago. And I was banged up, and my dad's buddy Robbie was like, "Hey man, can you teach me how to cast this thing in your front yard?" He'd had my 8-weight in his hands, and I was like, "You really want me to teach you how to cast this thing right now? It's 1 a.m. We're in my front yard, and it's Christmas Eve." And he's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "All right." I was like, "I've had a few beers. Robbie's had a few beers." I was like, "Here you go." I was like, "Grab it." I was like, "You kind of want to hold it, thumb up. Back, forward. I was like, keep the elbow tucked and just shoot it." He goes back. I feel a fly go past my head, and I hear it hit the tree back. He's like, why isn't it coming forward? I was like, it's caught in that bush back there. I was like, we'll do this another day when it's not 1 a.m. in my front yard on Christmas Eve after my parents' Christmas Eve party.
Yeah. Man, it's something. Like I love it, man. And if you're in the boat with somebody that's really, really good and instinctual, that doesn't have to think about it, that it's just automatic, man, it's an awesome thing to see.
Yeah, it is. Like this is another story. I brought my buddy Evan a few weeks ago. Never touched a fly rod, and he was like very good about asking questions and stuff. By the end of the day, he was actually like casting really well. It was windy, just absolutely windy and freezing cold. He wanted to go, I wanted to go. I was like, let's just go. It's like we might have to fish low elevation stuff, but like we'll just go. At least you'll learn how to cast. He was throwing good casts by the end of the day, And he's like, dude, I feel like I suck. I was like, dude, no, like I've seen people that suck a whole lot worse after one day, but like you're probably up there in the top two that I've had after one day that's casting like this. And the other one was,
Dude, some people are just, I think, very coordinated and just get it.
yeah.
Like, the majority of the people I fish with are bass fishermen, and some of them actually can cast pretty good. But when the fish is there, it just, that pressure and it does some crazy things. And I know myself personally, like, I've bass fishing and all that, with a baitcaster or a spinning rod, it's just automatic.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about it. I can trigger a fish to bite, saltwater or freshwater with your typical lure. But fly fishing, if I revert back to those instincts, it usually doesn't end up well. So it's just a lot of thought, and it's becoming automatic because I've done so much of it the last 4 or 5 years. But it's been a process, man. It did not come easily for me.
Yeah.
Like it's been very difficult to become good at it, I think.
Do you like see? I'm not coordinated at all. So I literally had to go out and like force myself to learn how to fly cast, and then like have somebody that actually knew how to do it critique me and sit there and just like badger me every time I casted wrong. And that's really how like I figured it out. And it's like like you're saying, it's different for everybody. Like some people are like, dude, like if I do something wrong, like just tell me I suck and tell me how to do it. I'm like, dude, I'm not telling you suck. I was like, I'm gonna sit there, I'll tell you what you're doing wrong, but I'm not gonna tell you suck and you should never pick up a fly rod ever again. But like it's crazy. Some people are just like that. But
yeah, some people I think are just naturals.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean too, so.
But what's your favorite fish to target on a fly in Florida?
Man, just the two that I've I've caught a lot of different species now, but just redfish is our year-round fish. I love red fishing. Like if you're only going to give me one, I'm happy with that one because I can go do it 365 days a year, But that and the tarpon, I've been obsessed with those for a long time now, and that whole game here is pretty unique and something that I've had a ball learning.
Oh,
and yeah, I mean, I would eventually like to travel and occasionally we get a permit up here. We actually, there's been a few snook caught here, especially east of here recently. We don't get any really big ones, but I'd definitely like to go play that game.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually.
Dude, it's snook are cool. I caught it was for some reason, the only snook I could ever catch were ones that were like that big. And I swear the smallest one I ever caught was a baby. I had it in my hand. It could have fit in literally the palm of my hand. And it had the one little line down the side. I was like, I'm pretty sure I just caught the smallest snook in Florida. The entire state. I sent a picture of it to my buddy. He was like, that is the tiniest snook I've ever seen. I was like, that's me, dude. Catching the smallest snook in the entire state of Florida.
Yeah.
But have you had the opportunity to take any cool clients fishing, like athletes or anything like that?
Man, I've taken most of the people, my close friends that fish, the tournament circuits. Yeah. The only real, I guess, athlete is my next door neighbor. He played at Indiana and they won the national championship. Oh, yeah. So I've been following that whole saga all year. He was at the game last night. But yeah, he played for the Colts a little while and a couple of years. I don't think he ever started for the Falcons, but his NFL career was about 4 years. But yeah, I go fishing with him some. He's not a very good fisherman at all. His son is the one that is, though, that I can. He's going to, regardless of what his son does, he's big like his dad. He might play football. He might play baseball. He could be a fly fishing god for all I know, but he's good at everything he tries to do. So
that's awesome. Who have you taken from the tour?
But yeah, Clay is his name, and if you live around St. Joe here, Big Clay. And but yeah, he would be the only really big, a guy played in the NFL. I think he's pretty.
Yeah.
You just don't make a guy like that. Like he was just born with hands as big as my head. Just a freak of nature. And his son's not going to be too far.
Damn.
His son's taller than my wife, and he's 12. So.
Oh, my gosh. Dude, who have you taken from the tour fishing?
Dude, all my buddies. The most fun trip I had was Brandon Coulter, who he lives up there in Tennessee. I had him and his family out of Pathfinder, and I had one of the best redfish and triple tail trips of my life with him, his son, and his brother-in-law. They were down here on vacation. Mike McClellan, B. Height. Let me think, who else? A guy named Will Hardy. Shoot, I don't know. I know there's way more than that, but yeah, they all.
That's
I have several that are in Florida now, South Florida, that are traveling back up this way that are looking to go fishing on their way back up. And unfortunately, like, man, if we have one really bad month of weather, it's usually mid-January to February, and that's what we're looking at. But we still get these magical days. We get these negative lows this time of year, and you get some sunshine, and where the wind's not blowing 30. Yeah, we still have some pretty magical days in the winter here, but it's hard to schedule trips right now just because you get more bad days.
Yeah. Did y'all get snow the other day?
To be successful, you just got to have good weather day right now.
Did y'all get snow the other day, like Saturday?
We didn't here. We actually last week had snow on the ground here this same week. It's the first time since I've lived here.
Holy cow.
But just north of here, if you drove 30 minutes, they had a little dusting up there.
That's nuts. Dude, like I saw something like Destin, they had snow.
Dude, it just should not snow in Florida. No. Like that's why I do not like the cold weather. I have fished in some miserable weather in my lifetime, and that's why I live here. And I told somebody the other day, if it gets any colder, I'm headed to the Keys.
But do you have any crazy stories yet from any trips?
Man, I don't have any real crazy stories. I have a memorable story from this season. It's probably my most memorable guide trip, and it's really not about the fish. It's just kind of a life story. But so I had a guy, his name's Adam. He was on the National Guard team back when I fished FLW. Is how I knew the guy. He lives in Kentucky. He called me about a tarpon trip. Like he just was obsessed with catching a tarpon. And I knew, this is 2 years ago he called. They were going to be here for a week, and he just wanted one day. But I knew he was sick. He had cancer, and I knew he was having a hard time. He's got a wife. He's got 2 young kids, and then he's diagnosed with testicular cancer. And I didn't really know the details or how bad it was, but I just knew that he kind of came up with this bucket list. One was he wanted to kill a big deer with his bow. The other was to catch a big tarpon. And I was like, well, what's a big tarpon to you? And he said, anything over 100 pounds. And I was like, well, that's a big one. Yeah, that's a good fish. So the first trip, they came down, and it was horrible weather. There was like one good day that week, and I was already fishing somebody else. So the first year, he was pretty weak anyways and was going through a lot of stuff, and we didn't get to go. So immediately, they were coming back the next year, so he had one day. And during that year, he got his deer with the bow. Like, and it's just he showed me pictures, and I didn't know the extent of how sick he was, and I didn't know how serious he was about checking this bucket list stuff off until the day we actually got to fish, and I start seeing pictures of the deer, and instantly I start feeling this immense pressure. Like I feel like I'm in the Bassmaster Classic leading on the final day, because here I've got one day to take this guy to check this bucket list thing off, and when I fished with him, he had kind of turned the corner on it. He was actually in really good health. Yeah. And, he's definitely, I think it just makes you look at life differently. But here, I'm the guy in charge of this guy catching a big tarpon, and I got one day to do it. And, dude, he was here in June. It's the peak of our season. Like, there was a lot of fish here. And I really felt like going into the day, like he had a chance, Yeah. Like not many people catch one or get their hands on one the very first time they go. And I tell him all of that, but he's determined. So we roll into this spot, and it's a place where they kind of hold up at night and they feed a little bit in the morning. And I really feel like that's his best chance. Later in the day, we're going to make a move out to the ocean side. Yeah. And, it's a little more technical. It's a little harder. But to make a long story short, man, we're about an hour and a half in, and he's had a couple. He had like one eat that didn't get the hook, and he's not a fly fish. Like, this is just spinning rod with some plastic, okay?
Yeah.
But still, it's still not easy to accomplish what he's wanting to do. We're an hour and a half in, and like it's starting to tail off, and I just know the odds are getting harder. I don't feel like it's going to get any easier. Obviously, the wind's going to start blowing like it always does late in the day, and the fish out on the ocean, some days they just don't eat. Some days half of them will eat, you know? So I've got to make a decision, because these fish that we're on it's not getting better. He had a few chances. And all of a sudden, dude, we see this little group of fish, which is like 200 yards away. And they're out over a little bit deeper water, and they're clearly bigger fish, which, from my experience, they're not as easy to trick. And to get our hands on one, I don't want to entangle them with, a fish like that. But I make the decision, and we both decide together, like, man, like, we shouldn't leave here and drop 30 more minutes when those fish are over there. There are a couple gulp. Like, I got a good glimpse of them a couple of times. So we roll over there. I get set, and we're 5 minutes in. I was going to give it about 15, man, and a group of 3 just comes at the perfect angle. Like, they're not head on. They're kind of, it's just a really good angle, and he makes a really good cast, and he brings it right off the tail of the lead fish, and the second fish eats it. And, dude, an hour and 10 minutes later, I get my hands on her. And I could tell you the story of the fight. It's an epic. The whole thing was epic. But there was just a higher power working that day.
Yeah.
Because he should have never got the fish to bite in the first place. He should have never caught the fish. Like, it could have come off 100 times. Immediately, when I got my hands around the jaw of that fish, the hook falls out.
Oh.
And he checked his other item off his bucket list. And to this day, it's the most rewarding day I've had with any client. Not because of the fish or not because of the fight or the whole thing. It was just because of the circumstances surrounding it.
That's awesome.
And I knew at that moment, like that night, me and him went out together, and we had a drink at the bar right there that I always take after a good day, I got a place that I go.
Yeah.
And normally if my clients will buy a drink for me or whatever, if I pushed them enough or whatever, they had a good day or they felt like they got their money's worth. And I knew at that moment that this is, I did the right thing by going through sea school, getting my captain's license. And, you just never know. But that was the point for me when I knew. I was like, that was special what happened today. It was very rewarding, and that was the coolest thing that happened to me. I look back at the whole season, and it was there was epic moments all year, but that was the best.
Yeah, that's an awesome story, dude. That is
man.
Cool.
And the guy, it changed his life. Fish like that, and like him wanting it so bad, like he earned it. Like he definitely earned that fish, and he promised me that he was going to buy him a fly rod and practice, and he's coming back this year for hopefully, 3 or 4 days instead of 1.
Dude, that's awesome. That is so cool. Dude.
Yeah.
That is so damn cool. But so my last question of every episode is always so I have a running playlist on Spotify. I give 5 songs and the guest gives 5 songs. So what are your favorite 5 songs that you would like to contribute to the playlist?
Okay. Dude, I made a list. I watched your show and I saw some of that, and there's some pretty good songs on some of your guest playlist and yours. But man, I do a lot of traveling and I listen to music the whole time. So I listen to all kinds of music. But I do right now, these 5 songs are songs that I listen to over and over. If I got an 8-hour drive Thursday, these songs are going to be playing in my truck. So and I don't know, some of these might be obscure artists. Some of them are not. Some are probably older than you are. But some of them are younger guys too. So number 1 for me, Cody Jinks, Hippies and the Cowboys.
Oh, dude, what a song.
That's probably his most popular song.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of my favorite artists. I've seen him several times live, and he's awesome.
Dude, we saw him in Durham. He's so good live, dude. Unbelievable. So
Yeah, the last time I saw him was in Red Rocks in Denver.
Oh,
and after
dude.
that show, I don't really want to go see him anywhere else because that's just a unique venue and cool place.
Dude, Red Rocks I've heard any show at Red Rocks is unbelievable.
Yeah,
Let's
it
see.
is. So that's my number one song.
Sweet. I'll give you mine. I had to go down the playlist. I didn't have it up. There we go. All right. So my first one of mine was Past My Prime by Green Sky Bluegrass.
Okay, I don't think, dude, I've never heard of that. I'm going to write it down.
Dude, so have you ever listened to Billy Strings?
Yes.
Dude, so it's kind of like in that same ballpark as Billy Strings.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll check that out.
Dude, yeah, it's super cool. All the Green Sky Bluegrass stuff is awesome.
Okay, what's the name of the song?
Past My Prime.
Okay, Past My Prime. Okay. All right, number 2 is a band named 49 Winchester. Have you heard of them? The song Anchor.
Dude, 49 Winchester's unbelievable. So good. All right, got that. My second one was Main Street by Bob Seger.
Oh, classic.
Dude, I'm a big Bob Seger guy.
Yeah, and I've heard Bob Seger on your podcast before.
Dude, yeah, I love Bob Seger.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. Number 3 is a band called Southall.
Yep.
The song Animals.
Animals. I haven't heard that one by Southall. That is a great band, though. Got it. Let's see, my third one was Santeria by Sublime.
Mm-hmm. I love that one. That's a good song.
Great song.
All right, number 4. Now, this is my wife and we listen to this song together. So I had to put this one in for my wife, but this is a great song. It's a Randy Rogers band. In My Arms Instead. They're a band out of which a lot of artists I listen to are from Texas. They got a cool music scene going on out there. But the Randy Rogers band's awesome, man.
They do have a really cool music scene going on there right now. Like Zach Top is another one. I think he's Texas.
Incredible. Like old school sound, like a Clint Black maybe.
Yes,
kind of
100%.
Dude, just classic. That of all the newer artists, dude, Zach Top's awesome.
Oh, he is. Dude, it's unbelievable. I think he's going on tour with what's his name? Dang it. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. His concert here is literally on my brother's wedding day. Shoot, it'll come to me later.
A big artist?
Huge artist.
Like Luke Combs?
No, it's Chris Stapleton. That's who he's going on tour with.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a big artist there.
Yeah, dude,
Chris Stapleton is. I listen to him a lot, too. I kind of, that stuff gets played so much.
Does.
I like the more obscure, stuff that, not millions of people are listening to, that's kind of the way Cody was when I started listening to him, but now everybody listens to him.
Dude, it's kind of crazy, too. Like Luke Combs was like that, where you could see him play in Boone for $5 cover at a bar in like a double wide trailer.
Yeah.
And then you could see him at Coyote Joe's here for $14.
Yeah.
My third was this is my fourth. Brandy by Looking Glass. That's another classic.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Let's see. I think this.
We're on my last song.
Yeah.
All right, now this is I know before your time, and this is definitely changing, out of the little country vibe. But have you ever heard of a guy named Chris Cornell?
I haven't.
Okay, so there was a band back probably when I was in high school. It was the Nirvana, Pearl Jam kind of era, but there was a band called Audio Slave. And
okay.
There was a band called Temple of the Dog.
I know Temple of the Dog.
And Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam was in that one.
Yeah.
You've heard of Pearl Jam,
yes.
Right? Okay, so Cornell was the lead singer for Soundgarden. So this is a Soundgarden song, but the version I want you to listen to is the live version, which is just him with a guitar.
Okay.
But the song is I Am the Highway. by Chris Cornell, and the album that it's on is called Songbook.
Okay.
And I think it was recorded live at like Queen Elizabeth Theater or some crazy place. But
yep, I got it right here. Dang.
But that's a great song. The lyrics of that song, like, man, I can listen to that one over and over and over and over.
Dude, you unlocked. Damn, I forgot about Temple of the Dog, dude. Completely forgot.
Yeah, that
about
was
them.
Cornell. Like he's no longer alive, but man, that guy's voice is just iconic, and kind of like Alice in Chains. Like that guy's voice, Lane Staley, just unbelievable. You don't really realize it at the time how good they were, and now that those two guys are gone, they're two of the most iconic voices of rock and roll history to me.
Dude, I remember Temple of the Dog. I'm going hungry.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, dude, that's such a good song.
Yeah, I think you'll like "I'm the Highway."
I'm
like, it was a huge hit for Audio Slave, and there's several different versions of it live that Chris sang, you know, towards the end of his life. But that particular version of that particular song is just, to me, is as good as it gets.
Oh yeah, dude. But that's all I have for you today, man. Is there any last thanks and plugs you want to give to anybody?
Man, I really don't. I've done a lot of podcasts. You know, the majority of this is my first kind of fly fishing podcast. So I appreciate you having me on. I do want to thank my buddies Jordan and Scott that kind of helped me out when I told them I was considering doing this whole guiding thing, and you know, all the other guys that are really good around here that kind of push me to be better. And you know, like I just want to give a shout out to everybody like that and all my customers that have booked with me the last 3 years. So it's been slow and steady growth. And as my tournament, I keep cutting back every year how many I'm fishing and doing a few more guide trips, and I really enjoy it. So just thanks to all my customers that are coming out, and hopefully I'll get some new ones and, you know, continue to grow it.
Yeah, man, dude, that's awesome, dude. Thank you so much for coming on. I had to get down there and fish with you one day.
Come on down, man. We got a cool fishery down here. It's pretty special. I think it is, anyways, or I wouldn't live here and call it home. But yeah, man, it's an awesome place, and it's not what most people think.
Heck yeah.
You know, when they think of Florida, most people picture Orlando for some reason, but it's
Disney.
far from that.
Oh yeah, dude, like that's kind of sad too. How they're like, oh yeah, Disney World, Florida. Like, oh man, come on, there's so much more to Florida than that.
That's right. I love it up here in the Panhandle, though. So if you do, you got to come visit it.
Heck yeah, I should.
What's up, guys? That was our interview with Mr. Randall Tharp. Super cool episode. Very cool episode. Just all around awesome dude. Super cool. And it was very interesting to see the transition from his professional bass fishing career over to his charter service career, and just all around great conversation. And if you like this show, you know, give it a review on Apple Podcast, give it a review on Spotify, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and anybody that already has, I greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate everybody watching and listening and reaching out, and you know, tell me what you want to see, ask some questions, whatever you want. Until Friday, thank you very much for listening. Boofa.